by Mark Nepo. Below our strangeness. My soul tells me we were all broken from the same nameless heart. And every living thing wakes with a piece of that original heart.
Oh, I'm live.
Its way into blossom. And this is why we know each other below our strangeness. Why, when we fall, we lift each other, or when in pain, we hold each other. Why, when sudden with joy, we dance together. Life is the many pieces of that great heart, loving itself back together.
Hold on. The end of a meditation. I heard the word the ground of being in this meditation. What does it mean? Just let me see if I can go back. Let's slide this. Let's see if I can hear.
So resting in that space.
Resting in that space.
Of a love.
And the love.
That sees no difference.
That sees no difference.
That is the essence.
That is the essence.
Of everything that is.
Everything that is.
The essence of you and me.
The essence of you and me.
The ground of our being.
The ground of our being. Oh, I'm coming up.
By Mark Nepo. Below our strangeness. My soul tells me we were all broken from the same nameless heart. And every living thing wakes with a piece of that original heart, aching its way into blossom. And this is why we know each other below our strangeness. Why, when we fall, we lift each other, or when in pain, we hold each other. Why, when sudden with joy, we dance together. Life is the many pieces of that great heart, loving itself back together.
My teacher of Mogadishu Shatakam Atmo related to Atman, to the self. So it could the ground of being could be the Atman. The ground, as in there was once only one Atman, and it broke into many pieces, and we are Atmites, and we recall where we came from one Atma. Let's call it the Atmon. And so when when we see someone near us in pain, we rush to their rescue. Why is that? Because we something in us recalls that we were once part of the Atmon, broke into little pieces. We were just one of the pieces. And so, can we break up into another piece still? Mm-hmm. Anyway, so this is this class that I was started. That was after 30 minutes. It's an hour and a half class, or more than an hour and a half, an hour and 48 minutes. So already 30-minute mark, 30-minute and 19-second mark. So it sounds like she took us into a 30-minute meditation. This was, when was this? Doesn't say. Class. So this is class 31. The word class 31. Hmm. Yeah, none. Class 31. 31. Let's see. Hmm. Oh, maybe I'll go verse 21. Instead of class 31, I'll type in verse 31. No, verse 21. That's, that's what, that's, that'll give me a clue. hmm There it is, verse 21. So that was April 6th. April 4. Wow. Mm, five, maybe. Okay. Mark Nepo. Mhm. Me read the poem she read by Mark Nepo. It's titled Below Our Strangeness. My soul tells me, my soul tells me we were all broken from the same nameless heart. And every living thing wakes with a piece of that original heart, aching its way into blossom. This is why we know each other below our strangeness. Why, when we fall, we lift each other. Or when in pain, we hold each other. Why, when sudden with joy, we dance together. Life is the many pieces of that great heart, loving itself back together. Woo. Hmm. So, can we mend all our broken hearts into one heart? Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Oh, you can share this. Mhm. To my Google Calendar. Google- Oh, oh, maybe I can edit. See, Zoom. Oh, let's see. And I think February 11th. I mean, October 11th. Wow. Shit. Focus time. Shit. Let's see. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. So, so I was reading an email that's from Joel Schuster. He says he sent it to Rami, to me, to Fred Carpenter. He's sending it. Actually, it's an invitation from Fred Carpenter to join him in a Zoom meeting Saturday, tomorrow. It sounds like it's every Saturday. Hmm. Uh, Who else do I know? Um, so Fred Carpenter, uh, Fred Carpenter wrote to himself. The subject is a foodie film travel soiree, October 11th, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, I guess. 5:30 is probably 8:30 Eastern Time. So it's filmed over 5 years. Right, the title of the movie is called Writing Hawa. It follows three generations of Hazara women from the same family in Afghanistan. With unique access and empathy, they Najiba Nouri films her mother has Hawa and niece Sahra in their aspirations to free themselves from patriarchal traditions, forced into marriage at the age of 13 to a much older man. The now 52-year-old Hawa spends her time confined to the home to care for her ailing husband. Mm, fed up with the drudgery and isolation of her daily life, Hawa sets out to open a small textile business. We follow her as she searches for traditional embroideries and turns them into modern dresses to sell in Kabul. She is eventually reunited with her granddaughter, Zahra, having escaped an abusive father in the countryside. Those denied access to an education as children, Hazra takes Zara under her wing as the two study together. But the looming takeover of the Taliban hovers in the background. TV screens and news reports threatening to turn their lives upside down. Writing Hawa, essential testimony of women's resilience in the face of oppression and the dreams cut short by the Taliban's rapid takeover of Afghanistan 2020. It's an hour and 24 minutes. Wow, sounds interesting. So, so, get an idea. Mm. Well, focus on this one. Let's see. We could just we can share the screen. And flip over to maybe this one. See this one. Go mine tree. Is it mine tree or my tree? Oh, or is it mind tree? Tree. It's this one. Oh, mm-hmm. I think I know the password. That I set up. Let's see. Cheat. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I can't. Um, let's see. Yeah. Hmm. Let's try. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Should be here somewhere. Could be here. Yeah. Okay. So, I'm going to have Gayatri Narayan read, narrate. You could say a little commentary here and there for verse 21 of Narayana Guru's Atmopadesha Shatakam, 100 verses of self-instruction. So listen up.
So,
listen.
Can you all see my screen? Yeah. So we listen first to the Malayalam of the verse. We're on verse 21.
പ്രിയമൊരു ജാതി ഇതൻ പ്രിയം ത്വതീയ പ്രിയം അപര പ്രിയം എന്നനേകമായി പ്രിയ വിഷയം പ്രതിവന്നിടും ഭ്രമം തൻ പ്രിയം അപര പ്രിയമെന്നറിഞ്ഞിടേണം.
This is the verse. The word priyam is repeated many times in this verse. And it's translated here as endearment. Endearment is one kind. This is dear to me. Your preference is for something else. Thus, many objects of endearment are differentiated and confusion comes. What is dear to you is dear to another also. And this should be known. So here Narayana Guru is really trying to unify us in our Priya. So he says, endearment is one kind. This is dear to me. Your preference is for something else. And thus, many objects of endearment are differentiated and confusion comes. What is dear to you is dear to another also. This should be known. So let's bring up Andy's image. Can you all see it clearly? Yeah.
Bring up Andy's image. So to do that, I may have to go to see. Now we have to go to my now verse 20. So, see, 2, 2, this one. Hmm. So let's uh, take a look at this image by Andy. No, not Andy Warhol. No, not Andy Griffith, but Andy the painter of the 100 paintings that go with the Atmos Desha Shatakam. So this one goes with verse 21. So, Priyam. Uh-huh. The verse is Priya Mutu Jati Iten Priyam Tvadiya Priyam Para Priya Menanika Mayi Prija Visayam Prati Vanitum Brahman Tan Priya Mapara Priya Menarini Tenam. And that is translated into English by Guru Nitya Chaitanya Yati, probably, as endearment is one kind. This is dear to me. Your preference is for something else. Thus, many objects of endearment are differentiated. And confusion comes. What is dear to you is dear to another also. This should be known. And so there's the painting. It has endearment all over it. It's a lovely painting. I see a bright spot in the middle with the rays of light coming out. And it is outlined as a perfect circle. So it could be, and there's another circle that is perhaps 3 times the diameter. Then there's 2 other circles outside of them. I see butterfly in each. Outside, in front of what's going on, could be a plant, flower, dandelion. No. Oh, those birds. No. And then from those circles, I see a light could be shining across that plant or flower object, intersecting at the center. Oh, I thought it was a butterfly. And it's the same kind of plant. And this one's kind of peeping in. So this circle could represent one eye, and this circle could represent the other eye. So what this eye sees of this object is that. This eye sees of that same object is this. And they also see the sun. Mhm. So what it's saying is that we get we get a different perspective from different points of views. How's that for an interpretation of the of the it's listening.
So this is his image for. Oops, can you see it? No. Hold on. Let's see. Okay. Sorry. This is the verses. Okay, here we go. So this is the diagram. And yeah, I'd love to hear what you see in this. Yeah, Jaya, please, yeah, go ahead.
This is actually very interesting because to me it reminds me of the anatomy of the eye,
Yes.
the eyeball,
Yes.
and the lens of the eye. And while two eyes are looking at the same flower, what each one is catching is a different aspect or a
Correct.
different part,
Right.
but it's the same. And of course, you will illuminate. Illuminated by the one. Yeah.
That's what I saw too.
Yeah.
And
it's beautiful.
I talked to Andy about that, and it's just he uses this circular image, and this looked like, I don't know whether he intended it to be like the lens of the eye, but that's what came to me too when I saw it. It looks like the lens of an eye, and then different angles, different perceptions. And the same light is reflected in each of these as well, right? It's the one value. It's like the one ananda, right? That, but seen differently. What is dear to you, what is dear to me, it's all the same one ananda, one value. So
what I also find curious though is the little circles within. I'm pointing at my screen.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the one. Yes.
But to me, it seems, although what is outside is also illuminated by the one, that one is within me.
Correct.
And until my senses are illuminated by the same source as well, I would actually not perceive anything.
Yeah. It is the one light that is illuminating everything.
Yeah.
The one love, So this is Andy's, and I'm sure as you look at this, you'll find even more. So this is the verse, and actually the first section of it is really a summary of the previous 20 verses in a way, and I'm tempted to read just the verses just so that we have like the flow of the verses, and then when you read the commentary, you'll see how Guru is summarizing them. So I'll just read them straight through, just the first 20 verses. Permeating the knowledge which brilliantly shines at once within and without the knower is the karu. To that, with the five senses withheld, prostrate again and again with devotion and chant. The inner organ, the senses, the body, the many worlds known by direct perception, everything when contemplated, is the glorious embodiment of the sun that shines in the sky beyond. This should be known through relentless search. Existing outside and as specific modes seen within, the five elements, like sky, when contemplated, should become like waves rising in rows from the treasury of the watery deep, without any separate reality whatsoever. Knowledge, the object of interest, and one's personal knowledge are nothing other than mahas. Merging into that infinite supreme knowledge, become that alone. Worldly people, having slept, wake, think, and think many thoughts, ever wakefully witnessing all this, shines an unlit lamp, precious beyond words, that never fades. Ever seeing this, one should go forward. One has to wake up, then go to sleep, has to eat food and embrace. Thus, in this way, many ambivalent urges arise. Therefore, who is there to comprehend reality's one changeless form? Do not wake anymore, and without sleeping, remain as knowledge. If you are unfit for this, then keep yourself in the service of those contemplatives who live free from birth, awakened to Om. Enjoying the five fruits such as beauty, mounted on a foul-smelling gun, and evasively flying back and forth are five birds. Having brought them down through an inversion, that radiant inner awareness should fill one's entire being. Growing on both sides in a blossoming state is the one vine which has come and spread out and risen to the top of a tree. Remember that hell does not come to the man contemplating, dwelling in contemplation beneath it, the man or woman. I, thus all that are spoken of, when carefully considered inwardly, are not many. That is one. As the receding I identities are countless in their totality, the substance of I consciousness continues. See the skin, bone, dirt, and inner urges which end tragically, to which the I identity is conjoined. This which perishes is the other. Oh, grant the cherished boon that the great I identity increases to perfection. Having offered the flowers of your mind to that Lord smeared with sacred ashes, the three gunas, having cooled down the senses, unwound everything, and become calm, when even the glory of aloneness has gone, become established in Mahas. Going beyond the boundaries of the three worlds with all filling effulgence, when the three-petaled knowledge has faded out, ever brighter shines that light. A pretentious seer will never grasp this. Thus, the Upanishad's secret word should be remembered. To the blessed ones who have sucked the milk of Para, 10,000 years is but a moment. But if knowledge succumbs to Apara Prakriti, half a second seems like 1,000 years. A very vast wasteland suddenly flooded by a river in spate. Thus comes the sound that fills the ears and opens the eyes of the one who is never distracted. Such should be the experience of the seer par excellence. Having two tiers of 5 petals, whence pain arises, rotating, beginningless, hangs the lamp of the self, burning as the shadow of true being, with the oil of latent urges and mental modifications as the wicks. The eye is not dark. If it were dark, we would be in a state of blindness, unable to know even I. As we do know, the eye is not darkness. Thus, for making this known, this should be told to anyone. The bottom, the top, the end, that is real, this is, no, that is. In this way, people quarrel. The one primal reality is all that is. All this inertial matter is transient. Except as a form of water, could a wave ever arise? Other than this, the world has no reality. There is all such that people say is without reflection. Even if to a numbskull it appears to be a snake, will a fresh flower garland ever become a serpent? Endearment is one kind. This is dear to me. Your preference is for something else. Thus, many objects of endearment are differentiated and confusion comes. What is dear to you is dear to another also. This should be known. So that is where we are right now in this beautiful work of Narayana Guru's. I'll just read now Guru's commentary for verse 21. Experience falls into two categories, the internal and the external. In the external world, we interact with things, people, and various kinds of events. Inside us, we entertain ideas, recall memories, and experience certain sensations. Yet, all of these experiences can be grouped together in one category as the object matter of experience. So that's everything that the I, the central I, can perceive or know or think is an object to a subject. So what is the subject? The subject in this case is what you call I. I see this orange outside. I like it. I have an idea. I like it very much. Here the idea is inside me and the orange is outside me. But both are objects of my interest. There can be a thing outside which I like and you do not like. I may also have an idea that I like, but you do not like. You like another idea. So you have a subjective feeling or notion, as well as items outside, which are all the objects of your interest. So now we have three things. There's I, there's my idea of something. It's the inner experience of what my idea is, my thoughts are, and what is not I, right? Or what is outside me. So there's the I, there's my ideas, and what is not I. There is one more factor also. There is a pure light in us, a pure self, which has been described in this work in so many ways. In the very first verse, it was described as the cosmic yoke, which is transforming into everything, the Karu. After that, it was compared to a supernal sun of pure awareness shining in the firmament of consciousness. Again, it was compared to an oceanic treasury. And we treat it as the one knowledge behind all knowledge, which unifies the knower, the known, and the knowledge within itself.
Right.
Then it was compared to a light which was never lit and which will never be extinguished, like the unlit lamp. Apart from shedding light, it illuminates things, and it is always looking on as the external witness. Next, we try to see it as the one changeless truth behind all changes. And that was further understood as the truth that is revealed to a contemplative person who knows the secret of the sacred syllable Om. After that, it was pictured as the supreme light, which fills our inside so much that all the horizontal interests in life become verticalized by the experience. Again, the same light was described as the neutral consciousness of the witnessing self sitting under the tree of life and not being caught by the tendrils of the phenomenal creeper, which is overladen with the flowers of individuation. Thereafter, we saw it as the oneness, the uniting factor which allows one person to understand another, and as the homogeneous reality in our recognition of different things. Again, we saw within us the continuity from one identity to another. It is the golden thread which passes through all separate notions of I. In this sense, it is the unifying factor in the I consciousness of different people. Again, we saw it as the one reality which comes to its fullness and perfection when the consciousness associated with an individual self in the form of an embodied being is liberated by the fall and decay of the body. It never perishes, it comes to perfection. We saw it as having a likeness to that Supreme Lord, that's like Shiva, who remains unaffected by the three modalities of nature, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. We were asked to turn to it and affiliate ourselves in a bipolar attitude of love and devotion, whereby we can offer to that Lord all the sprouts in our mind, right? Offering the mind flowers. And in this way, we remain one with the unchanging reality. What comes in between us and this wholesome experience? The threefoldness of the things outside, right? There's many triads, past, present, and future, here, there, and far beyond, on the earth, the atmosphere, and the sky. All are introduced as trifurcate, all are introduced to trifurcate our experience. Triadic experience occurs inside as well as outside, with the knower, known, and knowledge, enjoyer, enjoyed, and enjoyment, and actor, action, and what is acted upon. A person with a unitive understanding can see the sameness outside and inside. It is again and again that sameness we are referring to in this course of study. So whether it's inside or outside, there's all these ways in which these divisions happen, right? Like, so Guru's talking about knowledge, knower, known, right? That is one triputi. Past, present, and future is another triputi. Then you've got earth, atmosphere, and sky. Then you've got enjoyer, enjoyment, and that which is enjoyed. The actor, the action, and what is acted upon. Right? So whether we are acting in the world, enjoying something in the world, whether we're knowing something in the world, whatever we're doing, there's this sort of split, and we start to differentiate. Right? So when our life is fragmented and bits of it are lying scattered around meaninglessly, the light of this one can come like a flood to overwhelm our divisions and charge every event with great significance. So this is another verse, right, where he says, every grain of sand becomes a pearl of priceless worth. It has been described as absolute joy, experiencing which you transcend the passing of time. Everything becomes a timeless, eternal reality. Right? So this is where Narayana Guru says, 10,000 years is like a moment, and a moment can be like 10,000 years. Right? So that is for the person who is awakened to this truth. Like 10,000 years can seem like a moment. And every grain of sand is like a priceless gem. We have also seen that in the same world, even people endowed with great wisdom will put their emphasis on different aspects of truth. One will say the cause is real, another that the effect is real, while yet another will say it is neither the cause nor the effect, but what you derive from it that is real. Such varying approaches are what lead to fighting among people. After showing us this danger, Narayana Guru warned us to be careful, that this world can indeed be threatening. It can be dark, frightful, and depressing. If your mind is already tainted with the dark colors of fear, since it is through that very mind you look at the world, this world will also look very frightening. But if your mind is free of such taint, then you will see it as a fresh garland of newly picked flowers, very beautifully strung together. Thus, in its structure, function, and value, this becomes a world of great endearment, full of truth that can be adored as vast wisdom. So this is really beautiful. So this is referring to the verse 20, right? It's like, even if to a numbskull something appears like a snake, will a fresh flower garland snake, right? So here, so Narayana Guru is saying that it's this shift, this transformation that happens that makes the world an endearing place. It's a lovable place, a place where you can live with great joy and give of yourself with great joy. Right. So this is what he's talking about. He says the world can either be very threatening or very beautiful, and it's all how it's the nature of how your mind is, right, and the way in which you can beautify your mind, or you can make it a very ugly place. So these are some of the analogies that Narayana Guru has presented to us in the first 20 verses of Atmapadesha Shatakam. So this is why I wanted to read the verses, because he's referring to each one, So that's why I wanted to take the time to just read through all the first 20 verses. Now the Guru tells us to look again at that light within. It is always shining forth with the same kind of brilliance, but it passes through a kind of mechanism of different gears. The gears can make the light seem brighter or darker. It can even be turned off for a time. When that happens, you are in a state of tamas. Light is still within you, but it is as if you are in the dark. You are helpless. And then it can be turned on a little. And it is your own little light. And it can be turned up to its fullness also. When you turn your light on, it illuminates your world of experience, whether inside or outside, as if through a shielding glass. The glass is your mind. It is not a very faithful device for giving you a transparent vision. It is clouded in various ways. It is already colored with your interests, which have come to you because of previous conditionings, because of your vasanas. You yourself have experienced pain or pleasure previously in conjunction with something you are now encountering. So you are already colored in favor or against it. And several of these prejudices or preconditionings are already present in you. And the conditionings need not necessarily be previous ones. Someone can put in your mind a prospective expectation, which also colors the mind. All these bring about differentiation. So whether it's conditionings from the past or imaginings of the future, they both color the mind, right? And the way in which we experience our lives. So that's what Guru is saying there. So how is everyone doing, by the way, so far? I just want to check in. Yeah? Shall I continue? Yeah, okay.
I have a question, Gayatri.
Haji.
And I think I may be a little rusty
Bolo?
from missing so many sessions. But the verse that you just read, the previous one, like, so, I mean, is it like trying to, like, trying to get rid of that egoistic self is what it is. Like people who identify like that whole darkness, is it coming from like identifying with everything that is outside?
Yes, part of it. Like, so there are many things that contribute to a person's ignorance, right? Like, so it can be, there's the whole scale ignorance of avidya, right? Because we identify with a small sense of I. So that is one whole scale kind of delusion that we all suffer from. As soon as we are born, we have a separate sense of identity. There's that, which creates the darkness at one level. And then there is the added clouding of the glass that we make on ourselves, right? So we create our own narratives, our own stories, we have our own preferences. We bring certain things in, we push certain things out. We want, we don't want, right? So all of those things, it's all based on that fundamental error, which is that we identify as a separate I, as a separate individual, right? So what Guru is saying is we cannot get rid of the I, because the I is going to be there as long as we are alive, right? We need some kind of orienting factor to say that, okay, there is me and then there is something else out there. But what he's saying is that he says, remember there's one of the verses, Narayana Guru says, "Oh, grant the cherished boon that the great that the I identity increases to perfection." So it is like the I, where the I is not limited. And in fact, that's sort of like what I was trying to get at in the meditation too, in the metta meditation we did this morning. It's like to expand that circle of concern, that circle of I, so that you feel your connection and that we are all in this one essence, this one thing.
And bringing presence to like this whole past, future, and just bringing presence to things can get rid of some of those, like in just everyday kind of thing.
Correct.
Right? Like,
yeah.
The whole thing of like you're entangled in your thoughts the entire time, right?
Right. So when we are present, we are kind of extricating ourselves from that mesh of thinking, right? Like we can step outside the mind, be present, or at least be fully present for whatever is happening, with whether you're thinking or feeling or seeing, or tasting or whatever. You can be fully there. And really in that moment of being fully present, the entire universe is right there with you, right? Because everything is happening in this moment. Everything else is just a construct, right? So by coming to the present moment, you are inhabiting that greater identity. It's like, where that sense of the separateness starts to dissolve. So that's the, thank you for your question. So wait, let me bring this up again. So we'll continue then. We got like just a little more to go here in this verse. So now he says, reality has three unifying aspects. One is called Sat, existence. I exist, you exist, this couch exists, the house exists, the sky exists, the world exists. All these can be brought under one common heading of existence. All that exists is a genuine existence, which implies the existence of all. And it's called Sat. So Sat is existence in its full form, right? It's like, it's the existence of all existence. Okay, so that is Sat. Now, then he says, I am aware of my existence, of your existence, of the existence of the world. Thus, I have an all-embracing awareness that includes everything. What is not in it, I will never know. What is outside awareness? There's nothing outside awareness. So this awareness, which includes in it the good, the bad, the far, near, one, many, big, small, irrespective of all variations, it is one knowledge. That is Chit. We have Sat and Chit. So we have one all-inclusive existence and one all-inclusive knowledge. Then I value my beingness and you value your beingness. Everything tends to become valuable in one way or another. And all these values are measured by our own happiness. And this is called Ananda. But when he says Ananda, and he translates Ananda as value rather than bliss or happiness, because the value can also be a negative value, right? You might not like something. You might not want something, right? But that is also a value, right? It's like whether it's on the negative side of the scale or the positive side of the scale, it's all just a continuum of value. So everything in this world that we interact with, we have a value for it. We assign a value, which is Ananda. So we have Sat, existence, Chit, knowledge, and Ananda, which is the value of values, primordial value. Right? So you have the specific value, then you've got the primordial value. And taken all together, the whole of reality is therefore called Satchidananda. So Satchidananda is everything. There's nothing outside of existence, awareness, and value. That is the entire game is all Satchidananda. Right? So that is at the perfected level. You have Satchidananda. And then, so one can be permeated with the consciousness of Satchidananda. It can be blissful if it is not differentiated. But instead of this generic sense of existence, subsistence, and value, we tend to see things individually. So when they're broken into bits, we have asti. Asti means this is, or that is, right? The existence, like this is, like this table, this chair. Bhati, that is, I know it, right? There's an awareness of it. So this is, I know it, and Priya, which is, I love it. So that is endearment, Priya, right? So in the sort of individual sense, it's asti, bhati, priyam. And in the global, in the full sense, it's Satchidananda. So in Western terms, these correspond to cognition, that is cognition, conation, and affection. So cognition is to, this is, conation is the internal part, like the knowing of it, and affection is like how it's affecting you, right? Whether you positively or negatively. So in the fragmentary notions of asti, bhati, and priyam, there is scope for a great deal of confusion. We can have, this is, I know it, I dislike it, or even this is, I do not know what it is, and therefore I do not know if I like it or not. And only when we cultivate an ever prevailing sense of unity are we out of this confusion. When we identify with the egoistic self, we see only through this fragmentation and do not experience Satchidananda. If we can approach life from the point of view of the all-seeing witness, which is not tainted with incipient memories or proliferating interests, then we will see the good of all, the general good, in which what pleases me is also included. So you see, it's like it's the general good, but it doesn't exclude you. You are also included in that, right? So this is not attained as some mistakenly think by summarily dismissing what pleases me as an individual. Right? So people think, oh, I need to, get rid of everything that I love in order to love everybody else. No, that's not what Guru is saying. He's saying you're not dismissing anything. Often there arises a tendency for us to become self-critical if what we like is not liked by others. Yet if we are all human beings, there should be an underlying happiness regarding what we like. I like vegetarian dishes, and some of my friends like non-vegetarian dishes. So should I give up my vegetarian diet in deference to the others' non-vegetarian tastes for the sake of unity? Of course not. We have to think more generically about what we like. Vegetarian food and non-vegetarian food are both essentially food. I love to have food, and my friends also love to have food. At this level, we are not different. So I can go with my friends to a restaurant and I'll have what I like and they can have what they like. We are all partaking of food. Basically, our need is the same and our fulfillment is the same. The differences are only in the particular details. Of course, the differences are also important and can't be overlooked. When I'm hungry and you are hungry, I cannot just say that as both of us are one, I will eat for you also. You have to take care of your side of your business, of the business. So Guru is talking here about like a way in which we can come to a common denominator, right? Something which unifies rather than separates. So here he's just using food as an example and saying, yes, we all have the need for food. We all feel hungry. And whether you eat this or eat that, this is the common factor in that brings us all together is hunger and the satisfaction of hunger, right? So at the same time, you have to also, take care of the practicalities of things, right? You have to be able to be in this world, deal with the problems of the world, stand your ground on certain situations, and at the same time know how to find this unifying factor, find something that brings us all together. And so that's one example. And then he says we have to distinguish how we cater to the general happiness and what implications it has in its particular aspects. Right? So there's the general happiness and there's the particular. Husband and wife may love each other very much and they live a unified life. But that does not mean that they do not have two toothbrushes. Right? Having separate toothbrushes does not take away from their friendship in the least. So when we shift our focus from particular objects back to the self, we will stop getting so confused on this issue. 4 elements are involved from this perspective. There's the self, that is the supreme self, the ego, the objects, and our interest in them. Right? So those are the 4 things. An interest usually comes between the ego and the object. Usually it is the interest lying buried behind the ego that directs it to the object. Right? So it's like our vasanas, it's the latent interests that direct our ego to any particular object. And all this happens in the light of the self. So ultimately, the light is the part we completely forget. And it is in this light of the existence of the self that we derive the idea of existence of the object. And it is from this source that we even are able to perceive the differences. And it is from the knowledge of the self that we derive the notion of what we know. And it is from the value of the self that we derive the enjoyability of the object, right? So that is Satchidananda, right? So it is the light of the existence of the self, that is Sat, that we derive the idea of the existence of the object, the Satness of the object, the existence of anything. And it is from the knowledge of the self, the Chit, that we derive the notion of what we know. And it is from the value, from Ananda of the self, that we derive the enjoyability of the object. So these 3 basic facts we forget when we are concerned with only the objects themselves. So you see, he's so beautifully, he's explaining this idea of Satchidananda. One second, I just want to make sure. Where are we now? Yeah, then we're on the last page. I'll just read this and then we'll start. Even after we learn this wisdom, when we go out in the world, our life is again governed by preferences. My comes instead of our. He is my friend, my guru. I have a right to protect my friend. No, he is my friend. He is my guru. I see it like this. And then they fight. The combat is in the ego field. From there, if you get into the spirit field, it is very wide. There is enough room for everything. When Alice wanted to join the Tea Party, all the animals said, no room, no room. And Alice was indignant. There is plenty of room. Why do you say there is no room? There is plenty of room. You don't have to fight and say that because that person is there. You don't have any space now. Your space is not taken away by anyone. The space you occupy is always there for you, and the space occupied by the other is there for them. The absolute is big enough to include everything and everyone. Jesus said, don't bother about the flocks. my sheep can be outside the flock also. Why do you bother about a person being in a different church? If I'm really the good shepherd, I will go where he is. It doesn't matter if he wanders away from the group. In my Father's mansion, there are many chambers. So that's Jesus. That's a beautiful way of putting it. There is not just one chamber in God's mansion. It has such variety that there are unlimited possibilities. We have to reorganize our lives and make our visions wide. The more interests that are there, the more wonderful it is. You paint and I sing and another person dances. It will only enrich our lives the more. Why should everyone do the same thing? In contrast to the Soviet communists, Mao, it's this is spelled wrong, I think. Is it Mao Zedong? So Mao Zedong, yeah, I think. One said, instead of one flower, let there be 1,000,000 flowers blossoming. Why should there be only the red flower? Let there be 1,000,000 flowers with 1,000,000 hues flourishing. And that's wonderful. Even when 1,000,000 flowers of 1,000,000 hues flourish, it is the flowerness that we glorify. In other words, if we know the essential value that is lived out differently by different people, and if we glorify that, it is one. Let us cultivate the insight by which the oneness is immortalized.
Wow.
So,
We read all the
sorry, I read a lot today, but we have a few minutes. Yes, Jaya, please go ahead.
This is beautiful, Gayatri. I had a question.
Mhm.
From the paragraph which says 4 elements are involved from this perspective: the self, the ego, objects, and our interest in them. That's very beautifully laid out.
Mhm.
And then the next line is an interest usually comes between the ego and the object.
Mhm.
And he takes us through the progression.
Mhm.
Where does the interest come from?
So that is the thing, right? It's actually, it comes from within. It's from our vasanas. So it's from the deep unconscious that these interests kind of bubble up to the surface and it comes up to be satisfied in some way. And those vasanas then dictate where we put our attention, right? So if your vasana, like for example, hunger, we all have that vasana, right? We all like periodically feel hungry. So when that wakes up, then it becomes about food, right? Then we go to the kitchen, open the refrigerator, maybe call the restaurant, do takeout, go out, whatever, right? But it's that interest in the food or that need for the food or that vasana that woke up that became the many objects of interest, right? Similarly, take any interest, like while you're here, why are we here in this class? There's some vasana in you that is wanting to study this, right? So that interest, and so right now you are here, Ashish is somewhere else. So his vasana has taken him into a different world where he's sitting maybe at work, talking to people, having a meeting, right? So the objects of interest are, even though they're on the outside, what is really prompting our awareness of those objects of interest is the vasana from within. So it's you remember that previous verse of the lamp and the wicks and the oil? Yeah, the oil of the vasana is what is burning the wick. Right. So
it almost seems as if the world supports everyone and everything and is not there to judge. So if a certain person in the government is taking it a certain way, causing pain to countless others, that is his interest.
that's right.
And
yeah, it's right. It is.
And until he stops himself, literally nothing will.
So that's right. So that's why that's why it is so complex, right? Because each individual and their vasanas and their activities, and then there is the whole in which this entire thing is playing out.
Yeah.
So there is the it's like a continuous interplay of everything with everything else.
Mhm.
And so so that's why.
And also, I think Guru said the word homeostasis many in some other text, right? There is homeostasis, and if there is activism against that certain person that Jaya is referring to, then that is also within the homeostasis. I'm saying whether there is activism or not, it is all meant to be, right?
Yeah, I mean there are equal and opposite forces that are also at play, right? And those vasanas are being expressed through those other individuals. Yeah. So and I think in a way we have to I don't know, like I feel when I said we don't have to do anything, but to uphold the values that are the unifying values rather than the separating values. So if in whatever way we do that, right? So when we are living our lives, to favor the unifying values in the decisions that we make.
But isn't it true that then, I mean, if all going to get caught in this, there'll always be one in our cycles.
Yeah.
There will always be that interest of certain object, whether we like it or we don't like it, that will come from one cycle to the other in our lives.
Yeah. Till we burn out. Yeah, that's why it's nirvana. Right? So when they say nirvana is like when there's an extinguishing of everything. Like there's no more vasanas. And at that point there is no coming back. Until such time, it's there.
How do you burn out a vasana? How do you not express your interest?
No, it's I'm just saying, like, say for example, like and that's I think where and of course this is all theoretical to some degree, but the theory is that like when you awaken, when you see the truth of everything, it's like you've burnt out all your karmas, right? There's nothing. Your database becomes cleaned out, and then you have whatever the leftover prarabdha for that particular life. But when you die, and that's samadhi, there is no more vasana or anything else to reconstitute to a different life. So then it's nirvana. So it's like the oil is gone on the lamp. So Gita's text here says, Gita, I think this is Gita here. Hi Gita, is she gone? Oh, she's gone. And she said, since I'm the way, it's the wick of the lamp meant to indicate the light. In the case in that analogy, the wicks were the 5 senses, right?
That's slightly startling not realization, that's a wrong word, but a reminder that there's a reason why this knowledge can only help me to polish my own mirror. There's a reason why there can be one guru and many students. And I should remember that this, whatever I'm learning here, cannot serve as conversation to me. I can only use it to learn and literally actually go a little more quiet and polish my own mirror. It's not in It's not for me to try and tell anybody else. I mean, I don't have words for it, but I can only try and use whatever understanding I gain to just polish my own mirror.
That's really all we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, we can get lost in the words and in the meanings and all of that, but really a lot of this is understood in the depths of silence. So, so really we have to get quiet, we have to sit, we have to practice. And that word dive is what is make these words come alive. Otherwise we can get lost in the semantics of it. So we have to get quiet.
Sorry, I'm jumping in again. I really pulled on to this word, relentless search from the second. It's a reminder that it's not like you did it once and you're there. You did it, you got somewhere 30,000 times and you're there. But that relentless search, and it's a very useful reminder from the teacher, from the guru.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, please, Dad, go ahead.
Gayatri, then what is Satchidananda Ghana? What is Satchidananda Ghana Swarupam? Or these are just different ways in which.
When I say ghana, I think means like filled with, like, I don't know, who knows Sanskrit, right? It's like when you're fully like swallowed by it, like is that what it means? Like seeped
I
in?
have no idea. But I've heard this so much
Uh-huh.
that I wonder what it means.
Yeah, I mean, Satchidananda Ghana, I think means Swarupa is like the form, like when someone is in the form of like being like Ghana, I think means like to be filled with Satchidananda.
So again, a reference to the absolute.
Yeah, to the absolute.
Right.
Ghana means dense, like the forest.
Dense.
I mean, that's what Ghana in Hindi means, dense.
Yeah. So I think the connotation of that, I don't know exactly what that means, but I'm guessing that's what it means. It's like to be filled with, like to be dense with Satchidananda.
So if I have read in a text like the Ramayana somewhere where Sri Ram is referred to as Satchidananda Ghana Swarupam,
yeah,
then he is the embodiment of all of that, which is
of
the absolute.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you.
But bodily needs also, like in that group of vasanas, like you said, hunger, like the first example that you gave. I mean, can we ever? I mean, of course, the sadhus kind of work on it, but we're still eating to nourish the body.
We have to. Yeah, we have to. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you were to give up your attachments to things or whatever, right, like, and work towards that, and in the end, what remains is your bodily needs, you're still in that place of nirvana.
Yeah, like if you look at like somebody like Ramana Maharshi, or they have very very minimal needs, right? All they did was maintain their body. Like, so they would eat when they needed to eat, sleep when they needed to sleep, drink some water when they needed to drink water. But it's not like they're not interested in anything, like chasing up anything. So when the body sheds, it's like, okay, it's done. It's like extinguished.
I think I have an interest in all the sadhus that I came across and encountered, right? Like, but even I mean, for normal people to understand like how they could be without their clothes and show up naked was alarming,
Yeah.
right? Like that was like big, but for them, it's about giving up. I mean, clothes are an attachment to things, right? Like I don't know if it's a vasana, but it's an attachment to it. Like vasana would be something where I want to desire the best of everything. But
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so there was this whole debate of like whether they should show up in public without clothes, right? Like, and or should, but for them, it's about giving up this whole worldly attachment to food and whatever they can get hold of, like you said. They
It's
need
more than that, actually. Like, I think in that situation, it is actually about breaking down barriers of like conformity. Right. So those sadhus, those agora sadhus and all, what they do, like the reason that they just like, it's literally like they have cut themselves off from the world of rules and conformity. So they are basically, it's like a complete kind of like a freedom to be as natural as possible, meaning without all these veils of, oh, I should be doing this, I should be wearing that, I should be, so they do these things to kind of break the molds of the ego. So which is why they do things like they'll go and sit in the charnel grounds with dead bodies, things that most of us would be like, ooh, gross, right? Or they drink from a skull, or they'll keep all this like, but it's to basically to break down their mental constructs about what is supposed to be a civilized life. So so that their practices are designed to break all those things down.
it's also partially attachment.
Yeah,
Part of it. Right?
Yeah, because the attachment is not just to the physical clothes, but it's the attachment to an idea about what it means to be wearing clothes. So it's like, so the kind of the ego demolition that's happening at that level is really breaking down the ego at that level of like completely detaching in that way.
Oh, it doesn't let me. Damn, I'm at 1 hour and 29 minutes and 32 seconds. But it doesn't let me play it. So I have to play it from another phone.
But I mean, you don't need to do all that. I mean, it's one kind of practice. I mean, there are other ways to get to the same place. You don't have to walk around naked, but
So I got about 20 minutes left. Let's see. There are 19 minutes left. So it's interesting so far. Good questions, good answers. Wow. Jeez. Awesome.
it's just like, I'm just saying.
It's interpretation of.
I mean, it's great. I mean, if you can, it's wonderful. Why not?
Yeah, and I mean, it's just a part of their process, and
it's their way. Yeah,
but not like generally, it's not very well accepted or understood, right?
Right, but that's about them. That's about the person who's got that problem. It's their egos. Yeah. I mean, the sadhu doesn't care.
Right.
Yeah, but it's the person who's judging the sadhu that cares, and so that's for them to work out their what their problem is. Right? It's like okay.
Yeah.
There's also a certain element of fearlessness there, right?
Yeah.
And acceptance of the other's non-acceptance.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. This whole thing of conformity, like I remember like in college and all, like I was and I was very drawn to like for whatever reason, I'm convinced I was in the 1960s, I was in some hippie cult or something because when I was in college, I really had like a real drawing. I was very drawn towards like the hippie movement and the music of that time and Woodstock and Bob Dylan and the Grateful Dead, and I was like really into like and the beat poets like Allen Ginsberg and like and even so this was like even before I met all the current Gurukula friends who were hippies of that time. Like I was very drawn to that, and then when I was thinking about like what was it that I was attracted to, it was their rebellion against the system. It was their want, like I mean, the sex, drugs, and alcohol was or whatever sex. What was it? Sex, love, and I don't know what did they have? Like make love, not war. They would say open sexuality and drugs and this and that, but it was a symbol of saying I don't want to work within this narrow boundary of what the society is telling me I should be, right? So somehow that really like I was very inspired by that idea. It was like, yeah, why should you like limit yourself, but of course now I'm totally the opposite of that now. I'm living in Palo Alto in this suburban area, like completely not hippie, um but yeah, but I like the idea of that whole thing, it's just like the non-conformity.
Gayatri.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Joe, I was just saying how I love this conversation about not being conformists, but I think just the idea of being on a spiritual path, it is sort of that not being conformist. Like you still feel like you don't have to be a hippie and join a cult.
Yeah.
You kind of still feel like you're pushing for not conforming to the norm on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a different way of looking at it, but it's
That's
sort of
true.
like similar. You don't fit in basically everywhere. And that's
true.
okay.
That's okay. That's all
Yeah.
right. We need a few weirdos like us.
Yeah. And called worse, yeah.
It's fine. Own it, Kripa.
It's okay.
It's okay. We can
Yeah.
own it.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah. Amita, you were going to say? Oh, you're on mute.
So I mean, but it's I mean the whole non-conformity, I think it's just because we kind of think differently is why we even lean towards that way, right? Like, I mean, I don't like when I was in, I'm kind of identifying with what you say. I kind of didn't want these labels and things like that. But there are most of us who go by them, and then you kind of feel like a weirdo, like in that. I don't know. I mean, how best to say this, but like, I don't think people thought I was normal. Like, they just come up with these idiotic ideas, and you're in high school, and everybody's conforming to doing things. So, I think it's set up for failure because then you're kind of made to feel bad about these feelings and things, right? Differently.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's where your it's like it only affects you if your ego is sensitive. Like if your ego is not sensitive, it's okay. They can say what they want to say, and it's like you just. I mean, you can ultimately only be yourself. That's the thing. And I think when we're young, we're trying to figure that out. It's like, okay, what is it that makes me me, right? And we want to fit in, to belong, and then that feels uncomfortable. Okay, let me try this other thing and fit in here and see if that I belong there, and that might feel a little less uncomfortable, but it's still uncomfortable. So we're still. I think there's a way in which in life where we're trying to. It's like a trial and error thing of trying to see who we are and how best we can walk in our bodies easefully, right? And coming to be comfortable in our skin, and to be okay with that. And if that means walking around naked, then so be it. But I'm just saying, I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying, I'm just saying if that and whether we have to figure that out for ourselves. And that part of the journey can be very, very painful, trying to really see what makes me feel like who I am. Yeah, Dan.
To me, sorry, Rashi, go ahead. I was just saying the funny thing is you don't realize this until much, much later, but you realize that everyone was trying to fit in. Who you thought fit in was also trying to fit in.
Exactly.
And all that you get to know, you realize only later. You feel you're the outsider, but actually feeling
Yeah.
a different way.
Yeah.
Feeling it
So true. Yeah, even the popular kids, right? They were all trying to figure it out. Even if you felt like you were not in that group of popular kids. Yeah, it's so true. It's like, and I think this is again coming back to what Guru is talking about, right? Like, so this method of finding that, oh, this is us. This is a common human law, right? Like finding that common ground. And yeah, we're all trying to figure this thing out, and we all mess up, and we all, like different things, and we look different, and it's okay. It's just like coming to that basics of that. That's what Guru is talking. Yeah, Jaya.
To me, this is a great reminder, and I'm going to keep reading this in a family situation, any family situation, because I realize that I'm willing to grant other people their likes and dislikes. They're outside, they're friends, or even further away. It doesn't really affect me. But within that so-called box of a family, there's a lot of conflict that's generated by I like, and I'm not speaking superficially, at the deepest of levels, the interactions and the conflicts that are set up by I like this or you like that. At least in my life, have been very ugly. And they have led to self-judgment, because either I comply, or when I feel very pushed, I explode. And I realize that I have given the stick to the other person and allowed myself to get a little beaten by it. And I don't need to be either this or that. But this is most useful for me to remember in the family context. That what are different things are different to dear people, are dear to different people, and that's fine. It's fine for me as well. But how to deal with those who can get extra pushy is somewhere buried in some book for me. For now, it's good to remember this.
Yeah. So, and family, yeah, it's where everything is at, right? Like that's where we practice. That's the place to practice, is with the family. That's the hardest place to practice. The attachments are more. I still love that little thing. It's like with Ram Dass, right? Remember, I've shared it with you guys before. He said, if you think you're enlightened, go spend a week with your family. Have you heard that? Good one. Yeah, Meenakshi.
Gayatri, if you could just read in the last paragraph, there was this one line that if you could bring it up, please. Yeah. I can't see it.
No, one second. This one? Yeah.
Yes, it says if we know, in other words, if we know the essential value that is lived out differently by different people, and if we glorify that, it is one.
Mm.
It is acceptance. And to some extent, what Jaya was saying, that stick which we've given to other people, actually, it is still our stick. You know, it is not, we have given it to them, but we can take it back.
Yeah.
And yeah, each one of us has to figure out how to take it back. Right.
Yeah.
Because it is our stick, it is not theirs. We've just given it to them.
Yeah. No, I think the essence of that is to respect the individuality of another person.
But Gayatri, that's where I think for me it is, yes, to respect the individuality of another person, but it is more to respect my individuality.
But also.
Yeah,
yes.
because and going back again to the sky-clad people, that they accept the other people's non-acceptance.
Yes.
I find it difficult to accept their non-acceptance.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So this is all places to investigate, right? To see where the rub is, and always include yourself in it, right? Like when Guru made that point first. It includes you. You don't deny yourself in this equation of trying to come to that one factor. You are very much a part of that equation. So that's why it's dialectic, right? Like it's this and that, or not this, not that. Right? It's like to be able to look at it from a holistic sense. That's so every verse in our published Satatam has that the dialectic. Hyro, last one, and then we'll close. Yeah, go ahead, Hyro.
Yes.
Hello, yes.
So, what is it in us
Uh-huh.
that inspires us to get on a path that we definitely can't really get on it as expressed with their founders or those that are set as an example, like their sadhus or swamis or monks or ascetics or whatever. And somehow by them being there, well, it inspired the Buddha when he went out and saw out of his confine. He went out and saw a mendicant. Maybe it was a
sadhu,
a monk, and saw or a sadhu, whatever it was, and he saw that this one seems happy, a happy person. So I'll just leave my cozy place and go out there and do something like that.
Yeah.
They seem happier than us somehow.
Yeah, I think there is that basic dissatisfaction that the Buddha must have experienced. I mean, who knows what his particular experience was, but I think even in those cases, people who choose those kind of lives, or even like you and me, or all of us who are here, who are somehow drawn to this, I don't think it's I think we've all done this before.
Yeah.
I think, and that's the stuff that we don't know and we can't understand. Like it's like our vasanas from some other lifetime is now waking up and saying, "Hey, I want to know this. I want, there's something else that it's drawing me to this knowledge. I want to learn this. I want to understand this. Right?
Oh.
So the Buddha, when he, so the yeah, so the Buddha, when he saw the mendicant there, it was not just from that lifetime. You know, he was born a prince, and something in him woke up at that moment that then set him off on the trajectory of trying to find the truth. So I mean, it's mysterious. I don't think we'll ever know what it is that draws us to this, but you're here, and that's what matters. And you can only be you. And if you have that thirst, then try to feed it. Try to quench it with whatever you're doing. So yeah, his phone is gone. So all right, so a good time to close. Okay. Om Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu Sarvesham Shanti Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niradharam Sarve Bhadram Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhaveet Om Shanti 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 Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamidachyate Purnasya Purnamidaya Purnamidavasishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Hari Om Sat
Oh, that was the Atmo Class 31 on verse 21, which happened on a Friday. I think it was in April 4 or 5. Let me look at my calendar. See what Friday that fell on. So if we go back to April, if I go swipe over to the left, yeah, it was on April 4. April 4. Yeah. So it's going to be 11 a.m. No, 10 a.m. So what did I get out of this? Oh, quite a bit. That's verse 21. I'm going to try to do verse 22 tonight and write something up. Let's see. Let me go over see my emails. See, gotta go to Nancy's emails. Nancy. Hmm. First responses. Oh yeah. Mhm. So I'm gonna try to turn in verse 21 and 22 this week, this Sunday. So for verse 22, it says, "The happiness of another, that is my happiness. One's own joy is another joy. This is the guiding principle. The action which is good for one person should bring happiness to another." New concepts. Paran, not paran, other. Another who is not other. Paran, other who is not other. Until we're able to completely. Getting people together actions such as show quest for happiness, we are liable to experience many dramas. First night, first stop opening key. Hmm. Welcome, Abhishek Shukla, to Wake Up and Think Clearly.
Hello friends and Haro, how are you? Welcome to my channel. Wake up and think clearly.
Welcome, welcome.
Like,
How are you?
subscribe, like our channel and subscribe.
Thank you.
How
How
are
are
you,
you?
friend Haro?
How am I? I will investigate. I think I am okay. No pain.
Haro, did you created Facebook page for Haro Zone?
Did I? Should I? Oh, a Facebook page for Hydozone. Good
Yeah.
idea. Maybe I should. Hmm.
Now when you end the meeting,
No, I was about to end the meeting.
okay.
I started maybe 2 hours ago. Wow.
Thank you friends for joining this meeting. Now Haro will going to end the meeting.
Yes, thank you for coming to the meeting. It was wonderful to see you.